Good evening. It is a pleasure to welcome you to these 149th commencement exercises for the Attleboro High School class of 2018. At this time, please stand and join me. We missed that in practice. But I would ask that you please join me in a moment of silence. I would ask that you consider dedicating this moment of silence in honor of four classmates: Nicholas Vero, Gabrielle Carpeno, Stephen Aguirre, and Julia Ayub, who were all taken from us before their opportunity to be with us today. And now please remain standing as the Star-Spangled Banner will be performed by our senior choir under the direction of Mr. Gary Hyman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to welcome several honored guests. I ask that you please hold your applause until the end. The Mayor of the City of Attleboro, Paul Heroux. School committee members, Vice Chairperson Lori Scales, Secretary William Larson, Rob Geddes, Shannon Johnson, Jim Storrs, Scott Domenici, and David Quinn. City Council members, Julie Hall, Laura Dolan, Diana Holmes, Heather Perica, and Mark Cooper. Superintendent of Schools, David Sawyer, and other members of the Central Office Administration, Lori Regan, Mark Furtado, Yvonne Medeiros, and Julianne Singer. AHS Administration and Senior Class Staff, Assistant Principal Gene Hickox, Assistant Principal Kevin Gorman, Career and Technical Education Director Ann Montagano. From the Network Program, Timothy Richmond. Representing Attleboro Community Academy, Donna Maria Cameron. Events Manager, Katie Rigo. Senior Class Advisors, Christine Moniz and Laura Nibla. Members of the Attleboro High School faculty, building administrators and faculty of the Attleboro Public Schools, friends and family, and most importantly, the graduates of the Attleboro High School class of 2018. Welcome. I am so proud to stand before you tonight to celebrate this 149th graduating class of our Blue Pride community. I'd like to thank all of our honored guests, parents, family, and friends for your presence. The faculty, staff, and I join tonight in celebration of you. We are also joined tonight by our partners in your educational success, the administrative teams and educators from our elementary, middle, and high school who have prepared you so well. I thank you all for your service to our schools. And now, the reason why we're all here tonight, this outstanding class of 2018. Your recent weeks have been filled with many lasts. The last time you worked your way through a 5-block day with advisory. Your last high school exam. your last athletic competition or musical performance, your last ride to school, the last time you ate lunch with your classmates on those cardboard trays. But your years here have been marked by many firsts as well, such as the first time driving a car, your first heartbreaking failure, your first prom, your first time competing in a major arena. For some of you, you will be the first in your family to go to college. As a class, you have been a blessing to us. By the world's standards, you have already had a taste of privilege and success. Sometimes, though, we can mistakenly think that being first or winning is the measuring stick for success. The problem with accolades and achievements is that they can be their own end. They can be a craving that leads us into a cycle of needing to be first, confusing success with recognition, or worse yet, believing an external measure defines our own self-worth. I want to caution you that if you live for external achievement, the deepest parts of you will go unexplored, and the measuring stick that you're using in your life is weak and unsatisfying. Seeking to understand yourself and your aspirational vision for the future cannot be separate from the deepest parts of your being. Commencement, like tonight, is an important moment to reflect on that vision and recalibrate when necessary. With this ending of high school comes a new beginning, one where you have the opportunity to set new goals for yourself, challenging your assumptions of what success really means. Some of you have defined your notion of success by the grades that you've earned in your classes. Maybe it was success in the performing arts or in extracurricular activities or athletics. Your hard work and determination to succeed academically or socially is to be commended. But deep down, we know that all of that means very little after you leave AHS. What has enduring habits, what has enduring value, are the habits and the mindsets from your academic pursuits that will carry you forward and shape the world around you. To take that same grit and same drive to fight for just causes, making our surroundings better not only through your intelligence and your expertise, but also through faith, hope, and love. It is my hope that you will believe that striving for excellence is always a worthwhile pursuit, not because it brings you recognition or reward, but because in striving for excellence, we make the world a more grace-filled place that better aligns with our district's vision to improve our world. In order to do that, we must look deeper within ourselves and reflect on the successes that we've had, but then shift our focus from delighting in being first to simply being good. As you leave today and venture out into a world that will still measure you by your accomplishments, be sure to keep in mind that your intrinsic success will be measured not in being first, but by who or what we seek first. I challenge you to seek personal happiness. Class of 2018, I pray that you will take the talents that you've developed thus far and the talents yet to be discovered, and that you seek the truest, most beautiful things, redefining the worldly understanding of success along the way. I hope that you can see what has been modeled for you during your last few years in the Attleboro Public Schools. After all, consider that many of your firsts, your accomplishments, were supported by the people who have placed you and your needs above their own. Your families, your teachers, advisors, coaches, and friends have all made sacrifices on your behalf. You certainly have made a lasting impression on me. Just this past week, I have been exposed to two powerful testimonials from your classmates. One of you told me that his motto is ASAP, always strive and prosper. And last night at the senior reception, your class essayist spoke beautifully about how while some members of previous generations laugh at your sensitivity and whining, you are leading the change in a world with kindness and knowledge. You're challenging ignorance and stereotypes and all types of hate and bias. You are using your voices for what is right. You are the front runners for truth and justice. So, as your class essayist said last night, while the world sleeps, you rise early in preparation for when the time comes for you to pave your future. For your time in school, you have been sheep in wolves' clothing to society, and tonight you make the world wake up. You are prepared, you are hungry, you are unrelenting, because this is your world. This is the start of your conquest. The world awaits you, so take it. Congratulations. You have been a blessing to me. I love you all, and thank you for being you. And now, please join me in welcoming to offer greetings on behalf of the City of Attleboro, our Mayor, Paul Heroux.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here with all of you. This is a wonderful milestone for everyone here. All of you who are graduating are our reason for a hopeful future, city, and country. I graduated from Attleboro High School in class of 1995. That was the 126th class. I believe you are the 149th. But it was not the classroom lessons that I remember the most, but the life lessons that were passed during my time here at AHS. I want to share with you some of the lessons I learned while I was here at this high school. My geometry teacher, Mr. Hanowich, told my classmates and me, number 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, be honest with yourself. 2, be honest with others. And 3, always try your hardest. That will steer you right. When I was graduating from Attleboro High School 23 years ago, Mrs. Cordell told my graduating class the lessons that we were taught when we were little. Don't push, don't hit others, and be nice. My class valedictorian, Matthew Duplessis, he told of a Calvin and Hobbes story, a little cartoon that went something like this. Calvin said to Hobbes, "We should live our life for the moment because one day we could walk out into the road and wham, you're hit by a truck and you're dead. What do you say about that?" Hobbes responded, "You should look down the road." When I started my time as mayor, I established 2 expectations from everyone working around me, and they're about trust and kindness. Concerning trust, it's the most important thing when working together, because if we don't trust one another, we are worthless to one another. In this world, your reputation will be your currency, and when you take care of your character, your reputation will take care of itself. What you do when no one is looking is who you are and if you are trustworthy. The other is concerning kindness and the need to be kind to one another. We won't want to work together or help other people, and that hurts our collective goal in public service. Politics and life are all about how you treat people. It's a balance between being kind and not let people walk all over you. Sometimes it can be difficult to be nice to people who are being nasty towards you. Sometimes it can be a challenge to be kind to people when they are maligning your character or your reputation. Each of you has been faced with that and will continue to be faced with that. Let the simple words of the Dalai Lama resonate with you. He says, "Kindness is my religion." I believe that the best way to practice kindness is with the people directly around you. Tell your friends that you appreciate them for being good to you. Before you leave school today, say sorry if you hurt one of your classmates. Thank a teacher for trying to make a difference in your life. Tell your mom and your dad you love them and you're thankful for what they have given you. Don't ever underestimate how much it matters to be kind. No matter what each of you do after graduation, I have 3 requests. Stay in touch with your friends. They'll be your extended family. Come back and visit your teachers. Let them know how they made a difference in your life. And my final request is that you be kind and trustworthy to everyone you come across. I've lived in 3 states and on 3 continents. There's not enough kindness or trust in the world. Your classmates, teachers, and this city will be looking forward to hearing about big things from each of you in the years to come. but it is not your material accomplishments that you and others will be most impressed with. The thing that will matter the most is if you're trustworthy and kind. Now, I'm going to read a fairly short poem that my mother gave me about the time that I graduated from Attleboro High School. It's called The One in the Glass. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you number one for a day, just go to that mirror and look at yourself and see what that one has to say. For it isn't your parents or your friends whose judgment you must pass. The person whose verdict most in the end is the one staring back from the glass. Some may say you're a straight shooting one, and some may say you're the best without a lie. But the one in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look yourself straight in the eye. You are the one to please, never mind all the rest. For you are the one always with you clear to the end, and you've passed your most dangerous and difficult test if the one in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be the heartache and tears if you cheated the one in the glass. Class 149, class of 2018, I'm really proud of all of you. You are a wonderful group of people, and this whole community is looking forward to hearing really good things about all of you in the years to come. If there's ever anything I can do to help you achieve the greatness that every one of you has within you, I'm here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now please join me in welcoming the Superintendent of the Attleboro Public Schools, Mr. David Sawyer.
On behalf of the Attleboro Public Schools, it is my pleasure to welcome our elected officials, faculty members, parents, and most especially, Attleboro High School's graduating class of 2018. It is safe to say that this significant year for Attleboro High School, and by extension, as its flagship, the entire district, which it is my distinct honor to lead. More than simply addressing a failing facility, the decision to build a new Attleboro High School presents a singular opportunity to leverage this impending project for the betterment of the Attleboro community as a whole. Furthermore, the resounding election results delivered on April 3rd serve as a ringing endorsement of our district's stated vision, once thought to be audacious, but now understood as our underlying purpose: to be the center of a community united around education, where all stakeholders value and participate in our collective success. This spring, we took a momentous step toward realizing this vision as voters delivered a mandate indicative of a community that refuses to be defined by its past and has confidence in its future. And in that future, specifically in the late summer of 2022, when the new AHS opens, we will not forget you, class of 2018, and the crucial part you played in making that moment possible. Some of you took an active role, participating in the campaign or exercising your newly acquired right to vote, and I commend the civic virtue you exemplified in doing so. But whether you recognize it or not, each of you all contributed to the vote's outcome and in turn altered the trajectory of your hometown. Attleboro had a consequential decision to make, one that the people of this community took quite seriously and rightfully so. For over 2 years, voters evaluated the available information. Evidence was weighed, costs compared, and there was little doubt that the new building would be expensive. But ultimately, the question was whether a financial commitment of this magnitude would be worth the sacrifice. And this is where you, class of 2018, made your mark on a choice that changed the course of our collective history. At the time of the vote, you constituted the most tangible proof of this school system's capacity to educate, and as such, you personified how the investment in a new high school would be money well spent. In both my personal experiences and those relayed to me by countless community partners, the soon-to-be graduates assembled before us this evening stand as a testament to the quality of the education they have received and the character of the community in which they were raised. The news is full of stories about how graduates today lack the knowledge, skills, and attitudes expected of them. And we are asked to accept the faulty premise that our public schools are failing our youth. But Attleboro's class of 2018 stands in direct contrast with these assertions. Those who have had the pleasure of working or interacting with them are quick to report that these young men and women are more poised and prepared than most of us were at this stage, if we are willing to accurately assess our 18-year-old selves. They are a cohort who have not only pushed themselves academically, but through activism, joined a concerted generational effort to change how we engage with one another, to bring about a safer, more equitable, and just society. And so, as representatives of your families, your teachers and the various staff who support them, and the future generations of students who will follow in your footsteps, you made the case for our cause through your words and deeds. Your contributions proved decisive for the school system and the community we serve. You were the example we needed when we needed it most. And for that, I and many others will always be grateful. So by way of thanks, I wish to conclude my remarks with a piece of advice gleaned from the lessons of the AHES campaign. The broad coalition of proponents that rallied in support of a new Attleboro High School was comprised largely of community members who will never see a child of their own graduate from the new building. This begs the question, why would so many decide to vote against their own narrow self-interest and choose to make such a financial sacrifice? Cynics might suggest that they were uninformed or duped. But those who believe from the beginning that the AHS effort would be successful see it differently. The propriety of the shared sacrifice this project represents stems from the shared benefits that will be conferred upon all of us who live or do business in this great city. This and the increasing importance of education to a thriving citizenry were concepts embraced readily by this community, your community. A new high school is not a frivolous cost, but a wise investment, and a majority of voters understood its value to all of us. And so, near graduates, with our prospects so transformed so favorably, I ask you to reflect on the message that has been so convincingly delivered by the electorate. What does it suggest that an ample majority think educating other people's children is worth the sizable expense it requires? I would argue it indicates that most adults recognize and appreciate the need to learn throughout life, and that an education is the most reliable means of ensuring that our youth will have the knowledge and skills to make sense of the world that will soon be theirs to master. As we march further into the 21st century, it appears more and more apparent that our individual, local, national, and global success will depend on learning, relearning, and learning again. So regardless of the path that brought you to this point, or the one that now lies ahead of you, I hope that your time with us, and particularly this past year, has clarified for you the premium your families and neighbors have placed on the education you have received and what that says about the values of those who raised you, those who taught you, and those who continue to care about you. Your education will serve as the foundation of the adult life you're about to establish. Cherish learning, and there will be no challenge you cannot surmount. I wish you luck in all of your endeavors. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Sawyer. And now joining us for our Student Council welcome is the Vice President of the Class of 2018, Emma Lamoth.
Good evening, everyone. Class of 2018, parents, siblings dragged here by those parents, guardians, supportive friends, relatives, and educators. On behalf of the graduating class, I'd like to thank you all for not just being here tonight, but for the endless support and effort you've poured into us over the past 4 years. My name is Emma Lamoth, and I'm addressing you tonight as your Student Council Vice President. When I sat down to write this speech, I had absolutely no clue what to say, where to start, who to address, or anything remotely along those lines. And while mulling over this, it finally struck me just how fast we walked through those doors as freshmen and onto this stage as seniors. Being someone that has looked to the future, I never thought twice about how quickly freshman year turned to sophomore year, and how suddenly I was college searching, preparing for prom, taking my last exams, and putting on this cap and gown to come here and stand in front of you all. And I know how ready we all are to walk out of here with a diploma, and how tedious the past few months have felt. But in writing this, I've been able to see just how much we're leaving behind. We aren't just leaving this school. We're leaving our support system, a community who has given us so much opportunity, and an amazing group of individuals who have dedicated their lives to help us succeed. We're leaving familiarity, comfort, and ease. Sharing some advice may be feeble, given that I'm in the same boat as the rest of you, but for all it's worth, appreciate this. Although you may have waved off high school as something you needed to get through, appreciate the people who befriended you, taught you, and given the experiences that have shaped you. Appreciate being a kid with your loved ones to come home to and the freedom to make stupid mistakes. As we leave down whatever path we chose, we'll be shedding our childhood and stepping into the adult world. Before we know it, our childhood will just be rekindled memories as we flip through scrapbooks. And now it's time for us to turn to the next chapter. Something I've learned this past year while working on the campaign for the new high school is that this world is huge. As an Attleboro resident my entire life, I was oblivious to the number of people in this city I had yet to meet. I realized that we surround ourselves in a small circle of comfort, and we fail to reach outside of that circle. Even as we look around tonight, I can guarantee that there are people you have never seen before, but have attended school with for the past 4 years. We forget that there's so much out there to experience in our own graduating class, in Attleboro, in this nation, everywhere. It's simply a missed opportunity to not step outside of your circle and meet new people, see new things, and try new places. Sorry, I messed that one up. As we leave this place, take advantage of the clean slate that is handed to you and give new experiences a chance. That said, I just wanted to say how surreal it is to be standing up here tonight. It's hard to imagine not walking through these halls on a daily basis. I mean, it's all that most of us have ever known. It's nerve-wracking and bittersweet, but I know how excited all of us are. We may not have weekly hangouts with our high school friends, but we'll be making new memories with new friends. We may not have our loved ones with us, but it will make visits that much more special. Sorry. We may not be kids anymore, but we'll be making, sorry. That didn't go as planned, but it's fine. Anyway, we may not be kids anymore, but we'll be working towards the life that we imagined when we were kids. We're all such a strong group of individuals. Through the losses of our own, the success of our classmates, and everything in between, we've shown just how caring, resilient, and ambitious we are. And I'm proud to be a part of the class of 2018. So thank you, and I wish everyone luck as they continue on to the next chapter.
That's grace under pressure right there. Now please join me in welcoming the Salutatorian of the Attleboro High School class of 2018, Jimmy Nordberg.
Welcome students, teachers, friends, family, and everyone else here on this beautiful Friday night. First off, my dad has always told my sister and me that if you're not first, you're last. So I think that means I don't have to give this speech, but I guess that isn't how AHS works, so here it is. As a salutatorian, my role is to give a welcoming speech, which is all well and good until I started writing it. And I wrote the welcome part, and I had felt like I had already exhausted the topic. I had to think more about who I was welcoming before I could get any farther. Sure, I'm welcoming students, families, teachers, friends, but really, I'm welcoming a group of students going through a huge milestone in their lives, and a wide group of people who have supported, helped, and influenced them along the way. Every person here has impacted a student in their own way, whether they recognize it or not. Parents and guardians, it's pretty clear none of us would have made it here without you. I think all of them know how much of an impact they've had, so I'll remind the students. Every single one of you has only been alive as long as your parent has been raising you. So they've been dealing with all of your problems for a longer amount of time than any of us can remember. So I hope everyone remembers to thank their parents after this. Other family, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents are all much harder to group together because they've all influenced us in a much wider variety of ways. Whether they've taken care of you, or they've been a positive role model, or they've given you some really sound advice, or they're just a cousin that taught you something really cool, they've all impacted you in more ways than you can count, so they deserve appreciation as well. Now, family is great and everything, but let's not forget the people that choose to be around you, and those are your friends. Friends are supportive and helpful, but most importantly, they're fun. Everybody needs a break, and everybody needs to have some fun, and having friends that make you happy just make life easier. And nobody would be here without teachers, who have taught us both what we need to learn to pass subject-wise and to keep succeeding in the real world, like how to manage our time, how to be respectful, and how to conduct ourselves. And I could go on about all the different ways these people have helped us, and I could go on and mention lots of other people that deserve recognition, like coaches or your neighbor, but I don't think I need to. I think on a day that it revolves around us, it's not too much to ask all of you to take a few minutes to recognize the people in your lives that have helped you get here. I'm also incredibly thankful to have spent my time in the Attleboro public school system with all of you. I've had a great 15 years here. Thank you, everybody, and congratulations, class of 2018.
Thank you, Jimmy. Now please join me in welcoming the valedictorian of the Attleboro High School class of 2018, Grace Mayer.
There we go. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be speaking here today on behalf of the class of 2018. I'd like to thank Mayor Haro, Mr. Sawyer, Mr. Rooney, and the rest of the administration for all of their hard work and dedication over the years. 4 years ago, I wrote a speech for my 8th grade graduation ceremony at Wamsutta, but I knew that writing this one would be much different. We are all becoming adults, we've gained a little wisdom, and we are about to be unleashed into a world much different than the one we've been used to. And I think now, at this very moment, seeing us all dressed up in these snazzy caps and gowns, about to get our high school diploma, it is really sinking in. We've conquered high school, and now we are set to conquer the world. We certainly couldn't have gotten this far by ourselves. I have countless people to thank for shaping me into the woman I am today. My dance teachers, Miss Jill, Miss Stephanie, Miss Hope, for practically raising me and strengthening my body and mind so that I am ready for any challenge that comes my way. Mrs. Ferreira, my 8th grade algebra teacher, for sharing her passion of math with me and proving that learning can be fun. My friends who make life a little less stressful and a lot more amusing. And my family, I honestly could not have done this without your unconditional love and support. We all have special people in our lives, so make sure you take the time today to remind them how much they've impacted you and how much you appreciate them. Class of 2018, today is the day we've been waiting for, and I want to share a few things that we should all take to heart as we venture out on our own individual paths. Don't let fear of change, fear of failure, or fear of the unknown hold you back from pursuing your passions. We are all experiencing change right now, each of us in our own unique way. Whether you are going to college, joining the military, or joining the workforce, choose to embrace this transition with open arms and a smile. Embarking on your journey with a positive, optimistic attitude can turn any negative situation into a promising one. Yes, change can be scary, but with change comes new opportunities, new relationships, and new aspirations. As the wise Michael Scott from The Office once said, "Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way." This to me sounds a lot like life. Our whole life is one big narrative and we are about to start our next sentence, but I think a lot of us, including myself, don't quite know where it will lead. When I'm asked, where do you see yourself in 10, even 5 years? I try to think long and hard about my answer, even though I already know that I don't know. I have no clue. But I think that's okay, because like Michael Scott, we will figure it out along the way. What we can do is live with purpose, day by day, making it our mission to be better people in a society that desperately needs better people. Seek to help others, spread kindness, and do the right thing, because having a positive effect on the world will enrich your own life. Work hard to make your loved ones proud, but more importantly, work hard to make yourself proud. We may not know where we will end up in 10 years, but we do have dreams of where we want to be, and only we can make those dreams a reality. Now, there will most likely be bumps in the road, a few grammar mishaps in our sentence, but we can't let failure define us. What will define us and build character is how we bounce back from failure. When you make a mistake, will you shy away from taking another risk, or will you dare to try again with more fuel and fire than you had the last time? From what I know of this class of 2018, we are strong, resilient, and capable of more than we think. Never lose sight of your courage and confidence, because both will lead you to where you are destined to be. Graduates, I urge you now to look around, look at all these familiar faces. This is the last time we will all be gathered together in one spot before we branch off on our own adventures. Remember that no matter where life will take us, the friendships and memories we've made in Attleboro will always be a part of who we are. One last thing to keep in mind as we cross this stage tonight: we only have a certain amount of time on this earth, so don't waste it. Do what makes you happy. Let's try to be more present in life and not miss the moments before us because we are too busy trying to capture them. Congratulations, class of 2018. The world is waiting for us, so let's show them what we're made of. Thank you.
I'd now like to recognize Ariana Suzy, President of the Attleboro High School class of 2018, who will offer reflections and pass the time key to coming senior class President, class of 2019, represented by President A.J. Shirk.
Good evening, honored guests, Attleboro Public Schools faculty and staff, families, friends, and most importantly, my people of the class of 2018. I'm Ariana Susi, and today, for the last time ever, I'm speaking to you as president of the class of 2018. I knew that line would get me. Honestly, if you ask any of my friends, they'll vouch for this. I love 2018. I love being your president. This is bothering me. I love being your president. I love being part of the best class ever. I love planning 2018 events. I love the numbers 2, 0, 1, and 8. 2018 is just part of who I am. I'm sure there were even bets by senior year 2018 would have been tattooed to my forehead. So mom and dad, you're welcome, it's not. As someone who values appreciation greatly, I think it's best for me to start with thank yous. I want to thank my family, especially my parents and brother, for everything they've done that's gotten me to this point. They've been my ultimate support system and backbone. I love you, Mom, Dad, and AJ. I'd be nothing without the three of you. But I also want to thank everyone sitting in the audience, because if you are, you have been a part of getting the class of 2018 to this point as well. So thank you for all you've done. Thank you for all you've done for me and my classmates. One of my biggest thank yous goes to our class advisors, Miss Needbala and Mrs. Moniz. If there's anyone I will miss the most, it's these two wonderful women. I can't thank them enough for all they've done for this class. They've been the best class advisors anyone could ask for. They've worked nonstop on making sure our high school experience could be the best one possible, and they've exceeded that completely. Since freshman year, we've had this ongoing joke with them where they told us when we crossed the stage, we could call them by their first names. So Christine and Laura, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have made a huge impact on my life, and I love you both dearly. And now if you could please join me in a round of applause for my advisors. Remember, no tears. I also want to thank my amazing class council for working so hard beside me, planning all of our events and raising money for our class. I never knew how much fun it would be spending a Friday night running through these stands at a football game selling 50-50 raffle tickets, or how exciting the words, "Dude, give us a 20," would be at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning while canning. Honestly, I've had a blast. So to my council, you all rock and hold a giant place in my heart. I love you guys. Special thank you to my officer board who have gone above and beyond. So shout out to Brooke, Brian, Morgan, Emily, Julia, and Sierra. I would have been nothing without you. We have been an unstoppable team. My next thank you goes out to all the teachers who have made us into who we are. Thank you for wanting the best for us and pushing us to succeed. You are all such special people. And finally, a big, very special thank you goes to Mr. Rooney for showing us that Blue Pride is more than something written on t-shirts and signs around a stadium. It's a belonging. It's a sense that we are all part of something bigger than ourselves, something that will stay with us forever. And that sense of belonging is truly felt here every day. There is something for everyone. No matter what your interests, talents, or goals are, there is something for you here. Especially so important about Attleboro High School is the way we promote inclusion. We literally host the biggest Special Olympics Massachusetts School Day games every year, and being a part of that has truly been one of the best things I've done in high school. Now that's a glimpse of what Blue Pride is in one of its finest lights. Speaking of Blue Pride, as a class, we may have only won one rally, but the school spirit that lives in us all is untouchable. The vibe is surely alive. To all the class of 2020 kids, listen up. Please crush 2019 next year in the rally in our honor. It's so hard to believe we will never come to school on a November morning decked in white again. And even sadder, we'll never stay late on a rally eve to decorate a hallway or bulletin board for Deck the Halls or now Deck the Bulletin Boards, where we won 4 years in a row. This class was also a part of the ultimate Blue Pride move. Many of us volunteered for months on the Build Blue Pride campaign for a new high school. We left this place better than we found it by getting a school we'll never attend. It's so clear that Blue Pride lives in us all. As Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you're going to miss it. And if there's one thing I've learned in high school, it's not to take time for granted. Live every moment. Make the most out of your months, days, minutes, because it feels like just yesterday I was yelling, "Vote for Ari, you won't be sorry," at all of you for the first time in brave freshman year. Then somewhere out of nowhere, we're picking senior quotes, and then shortly after, someone handed us these caps and gowns, and now here we are saying goodbye to the people we grew up with and the teachers who have made us into who we are. Maybe for some of you, the hardest thing to say goodbye to will never be playing another high school sports game, others never getting to participate in another AHS drama show, or maybe never attending another school dance, or maybe if you're like me, you'll miss class council the most. But whatever yours is, I think we can all agree that the B2 cookies are at the top of the things we'll miss most list, and never having to stick to the chairs in A building in June again will be at the top of the things we won't really miss list. I've known to tell stories, so I want to share one of my favorite with you. The day before our first day of high school, 4 years ago, I ran into Emma Humphrey at Old Navy. We were both with our moms shopping for first day of school outfits, and suddenly we were both standing there sobbing because we were going to this enormous school. We were so scared of being shoved into a locker by a senior or getting lost. 4 years later, we're these supposedly scary seniors, and we now know there is no pool on the 4th floor, and that the only thing scary about this school is the smell of the glass hallway in June. Attleboro High School is now a second home that's just become a little too small. As Winnie the Pooh once said, "How lucky am I to have something make saying goodbye so hard?" And I consider myself blessed because this goodbye is so hard. But while I'm extremely sad to leave this place, at the same time, I'm overly excited as to what is in store for us all next. At our first class council meeting of the year, I went around taking pictures for our class council Twitter and kept going, big things, we're doing big things. Then it stuck, and I believe that's the best way to put it. You're all gonna accomplish big things. We're the next generation of doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, politicians, teachers, social workers, and whatever other successful paths in our future. And whatever path each and every one of you take, I know you'll be great at it because the class of 2018 is far from mediocre. The world is not ready for this class and all the good we will contribute. Now it's time for me to pass the key to Attleboro High School to the class of 2019's president, AJ Shirk. Over the last few years, AJ's become one of my best friends, and we've always bounced ideas off of each other and been there for whatever the other one needed help with. Getting to pass the key along to a president who loves what he does just as much as I do is such a privilege. I wouldn't want to be passing along to anyone else. Keep doing all the amazing things you do, AJ. The class of 2019 is blessed to have you. Enjoy every moment of the next year because it'll be gone before you know it. Here's your key. So I guess this is it. It's time for us all to continue on to the next chapters of our lives. Thank you for all the memories, and thank you for letting me serve as your class president for the last 4 years. It has truly been my honor. I hope I served you well and that you weren't sorry you voted for Ari. I love you all. Now go accomplish some big things.
It is now my pleasure to present the Metcalf Awards. The Helen W. Metcalf Prize of $5 was instituted in June of 1919 and was presented at graduation exercises at Attleboro High School. It has been presented at Attleboro High School each year to the members of the graduating class with the highest average for 3 years of work. The prestigious award is in memory of a former English teacher at Attleboro High School, Miss Helen W. Metcalf, who was one of the founders of the Pierian Club. In appreciation of this remembrance of his sister, Lewis Metcalf set aside a trust fund to provide for awards. We now present the Metcalf Awards to the class of 2018, ranging from $750 to $1,000. For the Metcalf Prize in English, Megan Lancaster. For the Metcalf Prize in Academic Excellence, Grace Mayer. For the Metcalf Prize in Mathematics, Colin Vermillier. For the Metcalf Prize in Science, Jimmy Nordberg. For the Metcalf Prize in Social Studies, Jordan Forte. And for the Metcalf Prize in World Languages, Brian McKeever. And now, Assistant Principal Mrs. Jean Hickox will make the announcement of the graduates. Diplomas will be presented by current and former members of the Attleboro School Committee.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call up Mr. Bill Larson to start us off. They should be standing. And here we go. Ariana Lucia Susie. Emma Quinn Lamoth. Brooke Diana Fontaine. Brian Christopher Ulbrich. Morgan Elizabeth LaPlume. Grace Helen Mayer. James Gregory Nordberg, Jr. Simone Sifane Surial Banud. Kevin Martin Beck. Jenna Noel Berg. Emily Werasasti Bulato. James Arthur Burke. Grayson Murad Cassidy. William Stephen Congdon III. Mr. Larson, if you would step back for a moment. At this time, former school committee member Melissa Cook will present. Julia Grace Cook. Mr. Storrs, would you please step up? Vanessa Caitlin Dancer. Thank you, Mr. Storrs. Mr. Larson, would you come back? Emily Kate DeVerne. Alina Veronica M. Ethan J. Farland. Jordan Taylor Forte. Gianna Rose Frielli. Oops. Sean Michael Gordon. Drew Austin Harrison. Colin Richard Jones. Madison Danielle Lamoureux. Megan Nicole Lancaster. Benjamin Michael Larkin. Ashley Daniela Lemus. Amanda Goff Lindley. Sean Haley McNerney. Brian Antonio McKeever. Aiden James McKenna. Hannah Elizabeth Meyer. Evelyn Rose Mortimer. Anna Victoria Nelson. Emily Ann Patton. Juliana Rose Phillips. Meredith Noel Piazza. Sarah Nicole Pimentel. Olivia Marianne Protano. Gina Lee Randall. Matthew Joseph Riley. Charlotte May Santoro. Kyle Anthony Savoy. Avery Elizabeth Schroeder. Daniel Huntoon Shipman. Bridget Alexis Stuger. Madison Elise Sweeney. Allison Deborah Wall. Casey Lynn Whalen. Tyler Abraham IV. Eric Fabrizio Aguilera. Sadie Naomi Aguirre. Miguel Angel Alas. Ricky Meyerby Amin. Elizabeth Amaris Simone Anderson. Devin Jason Andre. Zion Marquise Armour. Hannah Elizabeth Aspinwall. Evan Robert Bakyaki. Thank you, Mr. Larson. Mr. Deminci, would you please come in? Ariana Nicole Baker. Nathan Joseph Barbosa. Courtney Elizabeth Beal. Aaron Marks Bocage. Daniel William Becker. Ryan Earl Bercier. Elizabeth Erin Bickford. Jessica Lynn Bishop. Skylar James Blake. Edmund Obing Boateng. Alexander Stephen Bodeker. Hunter Jared Bohannon. Connor Forrest Borgel. Diana Nicole Borge. Jacob Antonio Borges. Abigail Marie Boudreau. Erin Elizabeth Bowie. Christopher James Brazil. Kelsey Rose Briggs. Andrew William Brown. Ethan David Brown. Madison Elizabeth Brown. Nathan Thomas Brown. Alicia Jolene Bruce. Alyssa Miranda Burgess. Olivia Rose Berry. Brett Paul Camara. James Henry Cameron. Emma Lynn Campion. Natalie Faye Canaday. Jonathan Xavier Candialis. Kevin Joseph Cardona. Shannon Elizabeth Carlson. Ivan Lee Carrion. Elijah James Cave. Darius Shazad Chikliwala. Hannah Rose Childs. Mackenzie Lee Christensen. Kayla Ree Chuck. Jamari Sierra Cintron. Anthony Thomas Clayton. Jennifer Lynn Koffel. Jordan Dale Colby. Casey Edward Colby. Leslie Stephanie Conco. Matthew James Corrado. Elijah John Costa. Michael John Costello. Gabriel Colin Craig. Daniel Joseph Craven. Aaron Christopher Creech. Megan Riley Croto. Thank you, Mr. Dominici. I blew it. I'm sorry. Mr. Dave Quinn. I can handle that. Can you come up, please? Okay. I'm not. Okay. Tristan Malachi Dam. Athena Rita Jiang. Jamie Joseph DeBarros. Elijah Josefina De Leon. Jonathan Patrick Delfino. Kyle Daniel Del Signori. Liana Lauren Durr. Hannah Marie Damaris. Chelsea Diaz. Lauren Danielle DiFieri. Kyle Paul Donnarumma. Annika Dorcius. Nathan Joshua Douglas. Aiden Patrick Downey. Marquise Eugene Downing. Andrea Marie Josephine Dozier. William Timothy Driscoll. Susan Marie Dunchie. Brandon Lee Durant. Austin James Durick. Adriana Marie LL. Andy Panid M. Hans Christopher Estrada. Ryan Lee Estramera. Emma Grace Farland. Timothy Jacob Barris. Jason Thomas Firestein. Kiara Marie Fernandez. Kayla Ann Ferranti. Kyle Parker Fisk. Shauna Nicole Francie. Matonia Francois. Thank you, Mr. Quinn. At this time, former school committee member Brenda Furtado will present. Cameron Lee Furtado. Michaela Nicole Galvin. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Stores. What name am I on? Kevin, what name? Yeah, which name? Avni Amit Ganatra. Zachary Daniel Gattoni. Lauren Elizabeth Germain. Anastasia Jagus. Cassidy Lynn Gifford. Mary Marie Joni. Devin Michael Goulart. Colby Wallace Goyette. Samantha Marie Grant. Shane Robert Greenleaf. Abigail Madrigal Guardado. Anthony Thomas Gadici. Tabitha Hope Guinan. Cameron Eric Gustafson. Kyle Anthony Guthrie. Mina Ashraf Habib. Jacob Morris Haig. Ela Elana Hall Kelleher. Kayla Ann Hall Kelleher. Austin Damian Hanlon. Brandon Lorne Hanlon. William Robert Harmelink. Nicholas Joseph Hassenfuss. Christian Scott Hathaway. Julia May Hayes. Miles David Haynes. Charles Jordan Tyler Henderson. Kyle Paul Henry. Brian Leonel Herrera. Brianna Rose Hibbert. Rory Hopkins. Emily Rose Hubbard. Emma Elizabeth Humphrey. Caitlin Ann Hurst. Connor Robert Hines. Timothy Allen Infante, Jr. Mark Kenley Jean. Naomi Jean. David Brian Jeffrey. Courtney Lorraine Gerald. Matthew Sean Jimenez. Abigail Lacey Johnson. Eric Sheldon Johnson. Caitlin Marie Johnson. Talia Evelise Johnson. Shane Thomas Jubert. Caitlin Cornwell Carney. James Arthur Kelly. Jonathan Dara Kim. Jalen Jolianne King. Emma Rose Kintner. Dakota Thomas Kirby. James William Kitsock. Nathan James Kumu. Thank you, Mr. Storrs. Now Ms. Lori Scales will join us. David John Lallier. Hayden Elliott Lamb. Sarah Ann Lancaster. Justina Amber Landry. Emma Michelle LaPalme. Chanel Valencia LaPlante. Andrew Robert Lavoie. Sierra Danielle Leake. Edwin Lewis Lentz. Brandon Kaimani Lewis. Jamyang Hadon. Nia Navadi Lightfoot. Rebecca Aline Lincoln. Alexis Rhea Lizotte. Manny Jonathan Lewis. Victoria Claire Lucier. Sarah Jane Lynch. Brian Douglas McDonald, Jr. Morgan Ann McLean. Michael Sean Marr. Brittany Sarah Mahoney. Sophia Nye Maloney Buckley. Monique Susan Maltby. Mackenzie Rose Mamoli. Aaron Ratsme Mann. Nicholas Casal Mao. Catherine Mahero. Gavin Austin Martin. Joshua Patrick Martineau. Jasenia Melva Martinez. Jeffrey David Matheson. Victor Manuel Matos Jr. Madison Page McAdams. Brendan Alec McCormick. Eric Matthew McCormick. Corey Wilson McKenna. Samuel Gordon McKenzie. Alexis Arnell McCoy Turner. Bryce Hollander McLaughlin. Jamie Alexis McLaurin. Marshall Gabriel Menard. Hannah Lee McKenzie. Taryn Michael Mills. Cody Keith Morrow. Jessica Lynn Moriarty. Eric Stephen Mungia. Hunter Stewart Nelson. Edward Xavier Noel. Dalton Joseph Noonan. Devin Al Nye Washkowitz. Destiny Michelle O'Connell. Christopher Anthony O'Connor. Cassandra Lee O'Day. Samantha Lynn O'Day. Tara Rhiannon Kathleen O'Neill. Justin William O'Toole. Luis Eduardo Oliva Rodriguez. Luisa Fernanda Oliva Rodriguez. Vaughnie Darian Oriana. Natalie Ortiz. Rebecca Ashley Packard. Drew Matthew Pagano. Robert Patrick Page. Samuel Kelvin Palmer Fonts. Caitlin Morgan Panzer. Jake Donald Perret. Ev Parento. Jacob Paul Parker. Evan David Parsons. Megan Brianna Patch. Aniri Shailesh Patel. Haley Bakabi Patel. Marissa Ann Pierce. Kayla Marie Pelland. Caitlin Rose Pelletier. Courtney Rose Pereira. Dylan Joshua Pereira. Kevin William Pereira. Lexi Beth Pereira. Madison Lindsay Pereira. Caitlin Daniela Perez. Brian Antonio Perkins, Jr. Rachel Igul Peralt. Colby Daniel Perry. Daniel Henry Perry. Nina Bella Marie Peters. Samantha Ruth Pierce. William Forrest Pion. Hannah Lynn Pollard. Asia Savoni Pawn. Victoria Louise Poor. Lillian Hollis Porto. Matthew Colin Potter. Amber Rose Poulin. Tyler Brennan Prout. Thank you, Ms. Scales. Mr. Geddes, would you please join us? Amanda Lee Rabo. Zachary David Ramsey. Christopher Kenneth Reynolds. William Randolph Reynolds III. Lydia Paula Robinette. Nolan Anthony Roddy Monette. Kagan Michael Rodriguez. Tiago Marcus Rodriguez. Elieth Delgado Rosario. Demarise Olivia Rose. Leslie Maricela Salguero. Ronaldo Elias Salguero. Ashlyn Derry Salisbury. Mackenzie Ryan Saltmarsh. Elvin Sam. Giovanni English Sanchez da Silva. Molly Jean Sands. Ellie Sophia Sanford. Brian Robert Sasso. Emily Susan Saulnier. Mohammed Arib Sheikh. Kevin Thomas Short. Nick Olai Schultz. Nicholas Richard Sidman. Jessica Lee Silva. Ashley Silva Moraes. Thomas Allen Robert Smedberg. Alexi Soto, Jr. Abigail Marie Strobel. Haley Lynn Straminsky. Jacob Matthias Swenson. Thank you, Mr. Geddes, and Ms. Shannon Johnson. Would you step up? Chloe Louise Taylor. Hunter Russell Tennant. Moses Mumida Thairu. Jeremiah Daniel Therian. Genevieve Brittany Toe. Keith James Thompson. Benjamin Scott Tibnam. Kyle John Tigges Accord. Sammy Sun Ting. Derek Andrew Tomasi Jr. Dylan Anthony Torres. Rob Patrick Trudell Jr. Teresa Alexandra Turner. Zachary Edward Valade. Michaela Lily Vasquez. Beverly Crismelli Elise Diaz. Colin Edward Vermillier. Vanessa Villas. Deidre Ellen Walsh. Kyle Edward Watson. Bo Packard Webb. It's all good? It's all good. Nice. Well done. James Francis Weir. Kimberly Rose White. Zachary Edward White. Ryan Scott Whiting. Gavin Michael Wildrick. John Michael Williams. Matthew Parks Willis. Alvin Schultz Wolfgang. Cindy Lee Woods. Montana Jolie Wortham. Kelly Maria Yarborough. Emily Cara Yip. Thomas James Urick. And wait for it, Francesca Marie Zuela. Ladies and gentlemen, the Attleboro High School class of 2018.
Not yet.
Graduates, I ask you to please move your tassels from right to left, signifying you have graduated from Attleboro High School. Mr. Sawyer, based on the recommendation of the faculty, I stand here before you to present the AHS class of 2018. They are deserving of all the benefits, pleasures, and responsibilities that this diploma represents, and they await your certification.
You guys all ready? All right, let's do this. By the power vested in me, by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Attleboro School Committee, I hereby recognize that the diploma recipients here today have met all legal and state requirements. I now declare you graduates of Attleboro High School in the year 2018. Congratulations.
All right, guys, have a seat. In closing, I would like to acknowledge our music department, our career and technical education department. I would also like to offer special thanks to Ms. Katie Rigo, Mr. Dave Elderkin, Ms. Jeannie Hasty, and Mr. Jason Parento for their hours of hard work. I'd also like to thank our partners, AACS, the Sun Chronicle, and Attleboro's OIT department. To parents and guests, we ask you to please remain in your seats until the students have exited the stadium. Students will meet their friends and families on the field hockey field. Thank you and congratulations.
so warm. My mouth feels fine. Oh, I'm sorry. Something on my case.
What happened?
Why are they vaguely moist? Oh, sis. That's a good one. Yeah, no, everything is like damn moist. I know. Why are they need to put? Oh, there's the microphone.